There we are. Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute. Sorry about that. That's all right. I'm just interested in what you said about the dark arts, and I'm not trying to lead you down a path in terms of this game, but what is the sort of like the, I don't know, the dilemma you've got? I know you don't want to go down that route, but I guess sometimes you think you might have to. I figure.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, cheap fouls. People going over. I think Xander's been battered because he's 6'3" or 6'4". Other players just go down, stick the bodies in the way. Fouls are getting given, blocks in the penalty area. And and I'm in a predicament, and I say it all along. People fouling. Tactical fouls as well. And it's something that just obviously, seems very, very consistent in the Premier League, and not consistent to us as a team. And I've been told by a lot of people and followers, and some decent people who are followers, that I shouldn't be so naive and I should smarten myself up. But that's a predicament that I'm in at the moment, and I'm not sure if I want to go down that road.
Yeah, I was going to say, because otherwise it just becomes a race to the bottom, doesn't it? Rather than.
But teams seem so comfortable with it. Some clubs and some managers and some teams just seem. And I'm not saying regarding today. I'm just saying. Over the course of it, it just seems to be that way, and teams seem so comfortable with it and don't bat an eyelid. And and it just seems to be that and they do gain the advantages that sort of attitude towards the game is.
In terms of moving forward now as well, is it easy to sort of compartmentalise these games that you've had against Liverpool, Manchester City, and now Chelsea, or is it does that seep into what's coming
I think on? It's really, really difficult when you have that mentality that we've got and possess through the period here of every game is something that we definitely can get out of. I think we do have to be realistic when we're not playing to the top of our form, James, which I am not saying for one bit that we are. There's not really a lot of consistency in selection through injuries, and maybe players that are not saying, well, it's me, I'm definitely nailed in. So, that is something that maybe I need to get right a little bit more in terms of picking the right team. But I think the team picked itself last year because of the performances, and people will go, well, they did get into a rhythm. Well, sometimes you're not allowed to get into a big rhythm. You have to deliver. But we have to be relative with it and realistic with it. That the teams that we're up against, it will not decide our future. Now, in the next 10 games, if you only win one in the next 10 games, that'll possibly decide our future. Because you'll be sacked after what 18 games halfway through the season with half a dozen points on the table, which won't be enough to get you out of the situation that you're in. So I think rightly so that you put yourself down. It's been a really difficult run right the way through this season. It's been a difficult run, over the last 5 games, really, because of the opposition that you're up against and the way we're playing as well, and the obvious, there's no magic wand to it, and the obvious dip in belief in confidence when you don't get that result and the teams that you're playing against. We might have to do that. We'll do that and zone into the next set of games.
What can you do with players? What do you do with players to get that confidence back? I mean, I know the obvious thing is a result, but is there anything that you can do as a staff, or they can do with each other?
No, I'm as you can imagine, I'm a very positive manager. I believe in the players, believe in the system, believe in what we've done with the players. I understand the difficulties of the division. I understand who we're up against, and the gap when we're not playing well, and we're not at the top of our form, and some bits and pieces that have gone against us. So I understand that. I'm the biggest supporter. You know, I'm not. I think you know me well enough now, James. I'm not sat in a change room before and thinking, you know, fingers crossed, hope we don't get done 5-0 and we've got no chance. I am realistic to know that what we're up against. Giroud comes on and Jorginho comes on. You know, World Cup winner. Jorginho comes on. You know, Italian international. This is what you know. Pepe comes on for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Werner's playing up front on the left, on the left, and Zikic, Sajic, or however he's pronounced, the world class performers, and the gap grows when you're not consistent with your performances, and you're a little bit off form, and the group is not playing at its maximum or at its best. That growth, and the team that you're playing against is flying, which they obviously are. They're not struggling for form. Chelsea, they're beating everybody in front of them. That's going to be, you know, it's a difficult gap to bridge. But as I said, you know, that glad that this little period's done, and now it's over to us now to affect the next group of games.
Just one last thing from me on the plus side. David McGoldrick, finally, and I mean that in a good way, seems to be finding his scoring boots in the Premier League, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think we all know, you know, David's not going to be an incredibly prolific scorer, but he can chip in, and that's what we're looking at, and he has again. So he's an important player. He's a big player for us. Outstanding since he come on a free transfer from Ipswich. Need I say more?
Yeah. Has he done anything differently though, or is it just a confidence thing with him? Has he just settled into the division since the free transfer from Ipswich?
Yeah, I think, you know, listen, I think that he missed opportunities last year, didn't he? And as long as that goes on, that grows, and it's the same with us now. As long as it goes on and we don't pick up that win, you know, it just, you know, gets chipped away, and it's important that, you know, I believe in the players, which I do. Group of players have done fabulous for me in the football club. I know that there's going to be opinions out there, and I imagine quite a lot in Sheffield at the moment. But the group will stick together, and as we always do, and fight our way through it. And David's a big part of that. You know, there's everybody's that expert when it's not going well, but you have to stick your chest out. You know, there's been a lot of fabulous things said about us over quite a period of time now. We have to dig in and get through this period. But it wouldn't surprise me if we did, James. I'll be totally honest. It won't surprise me. And that's the belief that we'll have together as a group, and as a group of players and a group of staff.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me?
Hi, Dan.
Just one quick question. Just following on, you said you had faith in the system, but you know you were in that dilemma about the kind of the dark arts. Just people will obviously say, as results go, that the innovative system that worked so well last season. You know, will you look to kind of change your style, and given the injuries and how people are learning on the job, is that something that you've considered, or is that something that you're just going to stick with moving forward?
I think it'd be quite dangerous to play a different way of football that you've been playing for quite a long time. I think if you speak to the managers of Liverpool and Manchester City, arguably the two best teams in the country and possibly in Europe, is it an easy system to play against? I think if you ask them that question, I don't know if you'd be surprised by the answer. I think it's quite a lazy way of talking about it, and people looking a little bit lazily into what we've achieved in terms of the way we play. There's always different ways to playing a system. There's always different formations, but it's quite dangerous to change the ultimately the major part of our game. We just need to be better at it. The goals today wasn't part of a system. being sussed, and our ball retention is not a part of a system that's being sussed. There's just stuff in that if you look a little bit deeply to it, that you can see doesn't give you the best opportunity of winning games of football or getting something from games.
Thanks very much.
Thanks all. Thank you very much for your time.
No, management.